welcome to CNBC TV18 special coverage here from the B20 Summit in India from New Delhi. I'm Shereen Bhan, and joining me now is a man who's making his B20 debut, the Global CEO of Mastercard, Michael Miebach. Many thanks for joining us again on CNBC TV18. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back here with us. Two themes that are the big priorities here at the B20 Summit, both themes that you're closely involved with. The digital experience and the digital adaptation that the world is making at this point in time, and financial inclusion. On both those, what's your big takeaway?
The big takeaway from the B20 is that the role of the public sector here in India, coming together with the private sector, has been a recipe for success for India. Digital transformation is powering growth for the country. That combination of using digital public infrastructure to pull people into the digital economy and creating the largest digital economy there is. G20 Sherpa Amitabh Khan said 46% of all transactions globally run through the Indian digital economy. So that's amazing. So we love to see that. Anything that rises the tide for everybody in digital payments is good for us. So that's a tremendous opportunity. Second takeaway here is the whole point of unearthing the potential of the demographic advantage that India has with 1.4 billion people. Digital transformation is this abstract point, but what it does is it brings the women entrepreneur into the system. It brings the small and micro business owners into the system. And it presents an opportunity to bank lenders and consumer packaged good companies and so forth. So two big opportunities, two big takeaways.
You know, just the headroom for growth in a market like this for Mastercard specifically, and you also spoke about not just the payment side of the business, but also the adjacencies. What do you see over the next few years, specifically for India, for your business?
Yeah. So over the past 10 years or so, we invested tremendously in India. So the digital transformation opportunity isn't brand new. So we were on this journey for over 40 years now. So we have about a third of our global staff here, and we keep investing. We keep investing in bringing more talent here, localizing our solution. Because, you know, an expectation should be, as coming out of B20 and the G20 presidency, that other countries will look at the India model. So being present here and innovating in India, for India, but with that also beyond the borders of India is a tremendous opportunity for us. You know, the world cannot be safe enough. The topic of cybersecurity, we're going to continue to invest here, and that will be as our strength. We see more data than most other companies, and for us that puts us in a privileged position. I have to praise the government of India actively leaning into cybersecurity with partners like us. So looking at the CERT level, at the national level, at the state level, it's an active conversation, tremendous opportunity. I could go on for a while, but let me stop here.
Okay, so let's address some of the other issues that you're working on and some of the other partnerships that you've just about managed to ink. One with Airtel and the Airtel Payments Bank specifically to address the cohort of women entrepreneurs in the country. Why did you feel the need to do that?
So, first of all, mobile financial services, pretty prevalent in our lives. We do many things on our phones today. So the mobile carriers have a privileged position in terms of access to consumers and providing financial services. For us, it's a natural partnership. And we have been partnering with Airtel, Bharti Airtel, for quite a while. We do this in India. We partner with them in Africa as well. So here, the next question was, what else can we do that goes beyond providing services to the people that are already in the digital economy? So there's tremendous opportunity in India when you think about the women-led entrepreneur. Where are they? Are they being catered to in the way that really unlocks their full potential? Think what all that would do to the Indian GDP if all women-led entrepreneurs could live up to their full potential. This morning I met 15 of them at a round table, and I heard their everyday problem. Brings me back to your question about that partnership. What specifically is happening here, Airtel is enabling the women entrepreneur in a rural area to also become an agent for them. Because mobile financial services are so prevalent in people's lives, they have yet another reason to go to her shop and engage there to whatever airtime they buy, whatever else they do that the Airtel Payments Bank provides. So for us, this is a natural partnership to enable small entrepreneurs to do more. For her, this is great. It's more traffic, so it works for everybody. This is a portion of a broader commitment that we have here in India to enable 100,000 women-led entrepreneurs through a program called Mastercard Strive that we do with a range of partners But very specifically, we're excited about this partnership, which we announced yesterday with Airtel India, very specific action.
What's the next big wave of disruption that you anticipate? I mean, it was banks worried about payment companies. Now it's banks and payment companies trying to work together. It's now telecom companies and banks and payment companies need to be worried about most. So
everybody sees the opportunity in payments. That's what that tells me, which is fantastic. When you think about where's the world of payments going? So yesterday here at B20, the first panel after the opening was about AI.
Yeah.
So I happened to be part of that conversation. And we looked at that and you started to think the topic of cybersecurity that we discussed. So just put the thinking hat on. This is actually fairly near term. You could, today when we deal with fraud, we deal with the transaction at hand. AI, Gen AI, would allow you to predict what is the next likely transaction that anybody is likely to make. And should that go through, yes or no? So predictive scoring around to manage fraud, put those fraudsters in the corners where they belong. That's a very near-term opportunity. Near term, we also see a lot of efficiency effects coming out of Gen AI and so forth going forward. Imagine last time you booked a trip. You spend a weekend researching destinations and airlines. You logged into your loyalty account to check how many miles you have. Hours are gone. And then you have a trip altogether, and you still don't know, have you known everything that you should know? Will you go to the best hotel? Is that chauffeur service really the best one, etc.? This could all be done with an online digital travel agent, leveraging Gen AI, everything knowledge that is known about the destination. You tokenize your loyalty account, you put it all together within 2 minutes. I've just been in our labs and seen it live. It is fantastic. So that could be a disruption. Anywhere in between, we're going to see the rise of open banking. We're going to see the rise of more tokenization. We're going to see the rise of digital assets. We're going to see the rise of real-time payment systems in more countries than in India, and so forth. It's a busy time. More a change in technology around payments than we've seen before. It's our role as Mastercard to be ahead, at least 1.5 steps for our customers in any of these trends.
So to be ahead 1.5 steps, how much time are you now spending in the lab, and what kind of capital do we expect Mastercard to deploy to be ahead in this AI and tech game?
I give you one number. Over the last 5 years or so, we spent over $5 billion in cybersecurity. So
$5 billion.
Yeah. So it's big numbers that we spend on technology, I try to stay as close to what I love to do anyway. It's kind of see what is going on in technology front, sit with our engineers. I just gave you this example of hanging out in our labs. It is important for us to remember that we are a technology company. We have to be ahead. We're going through a whole revamp of our technology as we speak. We have to be more flexible. In the end, local relevance matters. What India wants to do is what the Indian consumers need. That's what we need to do, and the same accounts for Brazil, Australia, and so forth. So being flexible from a technology perspective takes massive investments, but it's as long as it caters to the consumer, I think we're going to be on the right track.
Well, speaking of consumer interest and speaking of localization, we last spoke about your aspiration to bet big on cricket, and you've decided to do that yet again with the ICC World Cup. So, that's clearly emerging as a big passion for you, isn't it?
It is. In fact, we got inundated over the last couple of days after we put out the ICC news, which I'm delighted about. With ticket requests. So I'm not sure I'm going to get a ticket, actually. But, it comes down to a deep belief of ours. In the market, and we want to be relevant, what are the local passions? So it is cricket here, and it's cricket, interestingly enough, in many other countries. We're sponsoring the Rugby World Cup because there's some nations that are just crazy about rugby. We do soccer in Europe and so forth. Local relevance is what matters. We're a B2B company, so if you want to trigger a relationship to our brand, it's got to be, what are you passionate about? Music, restaurants, sports, whatever it is. Actually, not whatever it is. We've identified about 8 passions that are pretty standard globally.
Well, post this interview, I bet you're going to be inundated with more ticket requests for the World Cup. But Michael, it's great to have you back on the program. Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the very best of luck and look forward to seeing you back in India.
Until next time.
Until next time. We will take a quick break, but the conversations continue here on CNBC TV 18. We're back in a minute with more.